Season on the line, 4th and 11. Butka looking downfield, throwing, incomplete, broken up at the 10-yard line. And Old Bridge is headed to the NJS IAA Central Jersey Group 5 Championship game.
There's one in the flat. Good catch that time by Ransom. Ransom with a lot of room. And a good block by Delonzo down the field. And Ransom is gone. 57 yards to the house. 2-2.
Swung on and miss. Strike three. St. James Smithtown has done it. They are the 2025 New York State Little League Baseball Tournament champions.
Drops back, throws all the way to his right, has a man down the field, and he's got him! First play of the drive, touchdown, New York Green Wave!
Sanioki's season on the line. Goal to go from the 2. Kyles looks to run with it, pitches it to Sip, he grabs it, he's in for the touchdown!
The final 25, and they're neck and neck. Kane looks like they have just a dash of a lead. Salisbury taking first. What a race!
Live from Great Kills Little League in Staten Island, New York, the PDF Sports Network is proud to welcome you into coverage of the 2026 10U New York State Little League Baseball Championship game. In today's championship matchup, South Shore Little League takes on Massapequa Coast Little League. Good morning, everybody. My name is Joe Foreman, and as I have been all week long, I am joined by my broadcast partner, Nicholas Bavona. And Nick, South Shore thus far in this tournament has been an absolute juggernaut. Crooked numbers on the scoreboard time and time again, wins via the mercy rule, and a spot in the championship which sees them arrive unbeaten thus far here at this week's state championship. One of their victories did come against the Massapequa Coast team they will face today. That came in the final game of pool play. That loss is the only loss for Massapequa Coast entering today's championship, but absolutely anything can happen here in today's championship final.
If anything, Joe, if there's a prime example of anything that can happen, look what happened last year in our 12U tournament. South Shore beat St. James Smithtown in pool play 8-2 in that game. They then faced them in the championship game and lost that game 7-2. Almost an exact same similar result in pool play between these two teams. South Shore won 8-1 on Wednesday. Can Massapequa Coast reduplicate what St. James Smithtown did in the 12U tournament last season and get the job done here with the championship? A thrilling win for them yesterday, 2-0 over West Nyack. South Shore winning another game in 4 innings, 11-1 over Twin Town. So something has to give, and for Massapequa Coast, a chance at redemption after what happened Wednesday night.
And we'll talk a bit more about that Wednesday night matchup coming up in just a bit. However, we are going to break for the national anthem, soon to be followed by first pitch in this 2026 10U New York State Little League Baseball Championship game. South Shore takes on Massapequa Coast coming up next. And we are back from Great Kills Little League, just moments away from first pitch in this 2026 10U New York State Little League Baseball Championship game. Nick, once again, South Shore, the de facto home team throughout this tournament on Staten Island, they are the visiting team. On the scoreboard, they will face right-hander Matthew Ianfola. He made a great play defensively at third base yesterday and has left his mark on this state championship. He gets the start against a team that has been red hot at the plate. And very quickly, I'll get you the lineup for South Shore in this championship. Cameron McCormick leads off and plays shortstop, followed by the left fielder John Hagan, the center fielder Vincent Lecce, the catcher Joseph Romero, the pitcher Brylan Goldberg, the right fielder Ryan Cresci, the first baseman Anthony Modeste, the second baseman Aiden Syed, extra hitter Christopher Ortiz, third baseman Sebastian Camacho, extra hitter Joseph Timpanelli, and extra hitter Luke Winter.
And Joe, we touched upon it before, the two games yesterday. Different styles for each of these teams. South Shore, a much more patient approach towards the plate, took a lot of pitches, made some big-time contact, went up in the count, and took a lot of advantage of some Twin Town mistakes as well. Winning that game in 4 innings, 11-1. The third time in 4 games that they've won in the 4th inning. They scored 50 runs coming into this game. So for Matthew Ianfola, not an easy test for him facing this lineup. On the other side of this, from Massapequa Coast, a much more aggressive approach towards the plate. And give credit to Frank Thomas, a big reason why they won that game. The RBI double into left field to get the scoring started. He then got from second to third on a ground ball, and then from third to home on another ground ball. He was the difference maker on the offensive side.
First pitch of the game from Ianfola to the backstop. Ball 1 to Cameron McCormick. And Nick, you mentioned the approach of South Shore at the plate. And if you fall behind these hitters 2-0, 3-1, 1 all the way down to 12, they are just so dangerous. And following the game's first pitch, the umpires are discussing something now.
Could be maybe positioning of the other umpires, maybe?
It almost looked like it was a discussion regarding where players were positioned, but I'm not sure what input they may have there. It's a brief conversation, a 1-0 count, and Ianfola misses outside, 2-0.
Well, the beauty of the 2 games as well, Joe, for yesterday for both of these sides, they only had to use 1 pitcher in each of their games, so that's a big point to look out for here today.
Absolutely. As that pitch took the glove off the catcher, Catherwood, and ended up at the backstop once again, 3-0.
Yeah, early danger right here for Massapequa. A chance for South Shore to get the leadoff base runner on via walk as McCormick, up in the count, 3-0.
Take all the way here, Nick?
Yeah.
And he does. Ball 4. Showing bunt. McCormick pulls it back and looks at that pitch low. It's a 4-pitch walk to begin the game.
And if you're Massapequa, we saw what happened on Wednesday, Joe, in the match that these 2 teams had. It was South Shore that jumped out to an early 2-0 lead. And it really felt like at that point it was really tough for Massapequa to get back into that game. Had some scoring chances, weren't able to get those scoring opportunities to get through. And it was something that we highlighted yesterday in their game against West Nyack. The timely hits with runners in scoring position. It wasn't there for them in that game. They got the big one yesterday against West Nyack. They're going to need to find a way to get out of this jam early here in the first, and then see in the bottom half of the inning if they can get a timely hit if they get a runner in scoring position.
And Nick, with all that this Massapequa Coast team has done well, pitching extremely well and playing great defense throughout this tournament, that's the missing piece. And they were able to get that big hit yesterday as McCormick was dancing off of first with that pitch being bobbled for a moment by Catherwood. However, it's 1-2 now on John Hagan, who's had some big at-bats throughout the week. And he takes high 2-2, but as you were saying, Nick, with all they've done well, if they can connect on that big hit at the right time, it could be the difference between a state championship and coming up 1 win short.
And their defense was just really, really strong yesterday as well. Probably one of the more better defensive performances we've seen in the last few years.
And Hagan looks at a called strike 3. Ianfola bouncing back after the leadoff walk to retire a very dangerous hitter.
And Hagan thought that was on the inside, but a nice pitch by Ianfola gets the punch out. And that really was a big one right there, Joe. In danger of walking the first 2 batters of the game, and instead gets an all-important out number 1.
Check swing there, 1-0 on Vincent Leshy.
Been a good start for Catherwood behind the plate. He's been blocking a couple balls in front of him to keep McCormick over at first base.
Ianfola comes set and delivers the 1-0 outside, 2-0.
And South Shore, of course, yesterday in their game against Twin Town, 4 runs in the first inning. It felt like almost an insurmountable deficit for Twin Town to get back. If you're Massapequa, cannot fall into a similar deficit early in this game.
That pitch taken low and in for ball 3. Leshy in full control at the plate, likely to take 1. Would you even consider taking 2, Nick?
I'd say 1.
I'm with you. And there is that take.
I think with the way he's been swinging so far in this tournament, I think you have to give him a chance with a 3-1 count here if anything's good.
And that's not it. That pitch misses well out of the zone low. Ball 4. Second walk of the inning issued by Ianfola.
Yeah, big-time trouble right here as Joseph Romero comes up to the plate. He was the starting pitcher in yesterday's South Shore win, going the full distance in the 4-inning game.
Something that you're only ever going to see in Little League, a player getting the start in a semifinal as the pitcher and then behind the plate as the catcher in the championship.
Don't see it very often.
Romero behind 0-1. 2 on, 1 out here in the first, and that's fouled away 0-2.
And if he can respond by getting another strikeout after another walk, that would be huge. And we talked about it with the amount of pitchers that both teams used yesterday, Joe. I'm very curious to see how these managers implement their pitching strategies here today. When's the right time to take out a pitcher at some point during this game?
The 0-2 fouled straight back.
Something that South Shore does so dangerously. Foul off a couple pitches and force a chance to get a base hit. So a couple of those yesterday in their win.
Ianfola comes set. Another 0-2 runs inside. And speaking on the topic of pitching, Nick, I'd be curious to know that if everything goes according to plan, how many pitchers would each team use? Do you not want to show the other lineup the same arm, multiple passes, as that's fouled back? Do you have a de facto closer?
It very well could be the case that we see some of these pitchers maybe go 2 or 3 innings at most. And if everything goes right for one of the stars, then they maybe can go 4 or 5. And maybe if you're lucky, maybe go the full distance.
And there's a called strike 3 on the low inside corner. Romero a bit frustrated with that punch out, and he heads back to the dugout for out number 2.
Very similar to how this inning started. A walk to start the inning, then a strikeout looking, then another walk, and then another strikeout looking. So 2 on with 2 outs, and a big-time at-bat right here for Brylan Goldberg.
Goldberg ahead 1-0, facing his counterpart. Goldberg will be the starting pitcher for South Shore. The 1-0, bounced on the ground, and no one's covering first base. And safe is the call. Goldberg beats it out. That's a big mistake on the infield by Massapequa Coast. Now, Schmierwitz very upset with Ianfola for not covering. And I'm not sure that anyone other than Schmierwitz had a play on that ball either, Nick. Not really anything they can do if the pitcher doesn't cover.
We'll have to replay it when we get a stoppage at some point. But I thought maybe for a second maybe Piper was going to be able to try maybe field it, deep into right center almost. But
yeah, I thought maybe if you're lucky, your second baseman can get there. But you can't take that chance as a first baseman.
And you see where Schmierwitz is right there. And I think Piper could have probably had a chance if Schmierwitz had given the ball the opportunity to get there. And then in a second, we'll show you how close the play was at first base.
Yeah, I didn't think it was too close. I thought he beat it. Count 1-1.
Definitely beat it.
On Ryan Kresge. And he takes inside 2-1.
Well, now you're in a spot where no empty bases, so bases loaded. A chance here for Kresge to give South Shore an early lead again against Massapequa like they did on Wednesday.
It's a huge pitch here. It's another bouncer. Schmierwitz has it, and he steps on the bag to retire the side. South Shore strands the bases loaded, and Nick, I believe that is the first time they have been held without a run in the first inning all tournament. We head to the bottom of the first. No score in this 10U state championship game.
Awards and Trophy Center is proud to sponsor this week's New York State Little League Championship. Located at 1600 Highland Boulevard on Staten Island, we pride ourselves in not only building trophies, but building relationships as we service our community and treat you like family. Your event and its achievements deserve the best. That's why Country Awards and Trophy Center is ready to work with all of our clients to make your event a memorable one, with awards, trophies, and gifts that make a lasting impression. Come see why we love our customers and they love us. Visit us today.
And we are back from Great Kills Little League on Staten Island, getting set for the bottom half of the first inning. But before we get started in the home first, we'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors at ShopRite. Get more, save more, and enjoy more at ShopRite. Stock up on fresh foods, household essentials, and unbeatable weekly specials. Shop smart, shop local, and shop happy. ShopRite has you covered for every meal and every moment. ShopRite is a proud sponsor all week long here at the 10U New York State Little League Baseball Championship. And Nick, for Matthew Ianfola, that first inning saw him throw 27 pitches. So that's already a tough spot to be in if you're Massapequa Coast. That being said, you get out of it unscathed and have a chance to score first against South Shore.
Yeah, I mean, we saw what happened Wednesday. South Shore jumped out to a 2-0 lead early in that game, and Massapequa, as I mentioned, had the chances, but then South Shore would add some more runs after that, and it just really got to a point where it was really tough for Massapequa to get back into that game. So to be able to get into that situation and get the ground ball out to end the inning with the bases loaded was very, very huge by Ianfola. A credit to him. But now we'll see, Joe, with him throwing that many pitches, we'll see. I would assume he'll come back out for the second. But if he gets into any trouble again, does Massapequa think about maybe making a pitching change at some point?
I don't think they would consider it the first pass through the order. Also, there was another point I wanted to make, which we'll have to wait, as Brylan Goldberg gets set to deliver his first pitch, up and away, ball one. The point I wanted to make very quickly is that you, of course, hate the fact that you issued 2 walks. However, he did not give up any of the hard contact that we've seen from South Shore all week, as that's it deep to left field. That ball carrying, and it is caught. Hagan made it look easy. Not necessarily battling the sunlight too much today with the 11 a.m. start, and he puts that one away off the bat of Frank Thomas for the first out.
And, Joe, how similar did that look to Thomas's hit yesterday against West Nyack? The exact same spot almost. But Hagan was able to track that one out to make the play for the first out of the inning.
And we can't talk about that game against West Nyack yesterday without talking about the defense of Massapequa Coast, of course. But there was a great deal of misfortune for West Nyack in that game.
Yeah, a couple plays where it looked like they were going to be able to get a base hit. And, Piper's making diving stops. Thomas is making diving stops.
Thrown out from right field.
Yeah, Galati with a great throw from right field to first base.
Yeah.
Just a lot of bad misfortune for West Nyack in that game.
Good teams make their own luck, Nick, as that's taken up and away. The count even, 2 balls and 2 strikes on Christian Buckman.
And, Joe, it also came down to the fact that it was just one bad inning in terms of their pitching.
There's a swing and a miss by Buckman. He's down on strikes for out number 2.
Good strikeout right there. Good bounce, good start to the inning right there for Goldberg. Fly out to left, a strikeout right there, and now Bennett Catherwood comes up with 2 gone. Of course, the home run derby winner from earlier in the week. Would certainly love to get a home run right here. Make things interesting in the bottom half of the first inning.
I think there's a lot to be said for putting the pressure on South Shore by scoring first. They have not played from behind at all this week.
Yeah.
Unless there's something we missed in one of the early games. I don't believe so.
No.
As with first inning runs in every game as the visitor, they've never trailed. And there's a grounder to second, easy play for Syed, and that will do it for Bennett Catherwood and Massapequa Coast. They go down 1-2-3 in the home first inning, and we head to the second with no score.
New York State Little League Championship is proud to have Dave & Buster's as a proud sponsor. Where are you going after the game? There's only one place with delicious food, ice-cold drinks, games on the big screen, and fun for the whole family. Food and drink specials are available all week with the latest video games and the biggest arcade on the island. Redeem tokens for great prizes and come back often because Dave & Buster's is the place to be for game day and all the days in between. Turn on the fun with Dave & Buster's on Staten Island.
Second inning about to get started from Great Kills Little League. No score between South Shore and Massapequa Coast. The visiting team on the scoreboard will send 7, 8, and 9 to the plate against Matthew Ianfola.
Who got into some trouble in that first inning, Joe, but was able to get a big ground out to first base to retire the side, to keep the bases loaded, stranded, and keep this game scoreless. After they went down 1-2-3, we'll see what South Shore now does here in the top half of the second. Chance to score in the first inning, What will they do here in the second?
And Nick, you and I call a lot of football along with Dave and John here on PDF. And I always say that you learn about a quarterback in football by how they perform under pressure when the pass rush is coming and they're staring down the face mask of a blitzer. With a pitcher, I think what they do with heavy traffic on the base paths in high-pressure games and high-pressure situations, that says a lot. And Ian Fola was able to work through big-time trouble in that first inning, to his credit. Did you think I said football mistakenly?
No.
Okay. You were just waiting to see where I was going.
I was waiting to see where it was going. Yeah, I didn't want to, discredit anything until it was fully
We got
said.
there eventually.
Okay.
Meanwhile, he did fall behind 2-0 to begin this inning as well. Anthony Modeste now with a 2-1 count. But Ian Fola partially to blame for the trouble he found himself in during that inning as he walked two batters, then a misplay on the infield that I think largely falls on him, as that's lined into left field for a base hit. Leadoff batter on for the second straight inning for South Shore.
Nice start of the day for South Shore. Be curious here, Joe, if Syed, who we know has some speed, maybe tries to lay down a bunt and catch Massapequa sleeping.
And Nick, with how far back they are, you might be right. There it is. You called it. And they go to second for the out. Modeste forced out at second base. Nick, you called it. And the bunt just had a bit too much on it. They make the play at second. Another defensive gem from Massapequa Coast.
It's all about strategy. We see these teams practice before, Joe, on the field in terms of strategies and try to figure out where you're going to throw the ball at certain points in the game. That is a great heads-up play right there by Ian Fola, because he could have easily thrown it to first base. It would have been close because the second baseman Piper was covering. Instead, he throws it to second and gets the out and gets the lead runner. A huge first out.
There's a pop-up on the infield. Call made by Therian. It's short, 2 away. And I think it's fair to say Ian Fola made up for the misplay in the first inning with that last one.
Yeah, huge out right there at second base, because you keep it for first and second, nobody out, to now 2 outs. Syed's over at first base. And a chance to get out of the inning.
That was Christopher Ortiz on that last pop-up. Now Sebastian Camacho to the plate, takes ball 1.
Hey, Joe, I like the South Shore lineup page that I got today. They gave you even the ineligible pitchers that they cannot use today as well. That'd be Romero and Camacho.
Nothing if not thorough. I love it. The shorter that list entering a championship game, the better.
And I would assume only Therian, I would believe at this moment, would be the only pitcher that's not available for Massapequa.
That ball bounces and wasting no time moving up with Syed.
Well, South Shore took advantage of a lot of misplays by Twintown yesterday and the base paths. And now let's see if they can get a base hit by Camacho to give them the first run.
And if they get one, can the runner score from second? That's a big block. Syed will try it. And the throw to third is up the line. Knocked down by Therian, but not enough to keep the run from scoring. South Shore making things happen on the base paths. They take a 1-0 lead.
And that's why sometimes that throw to third is dangerous, Joe. Catherwood, who's been tremendous behind the plate for the entire week, tries to make that throw to third base to get Syed out, and unfortunately threw it offline and into left field, and they could not block it behind. And it's South Shore that once again takes advantage on the base paths and takes a 1-0 lead.
And Nick, you could see it coming as soon as they threw to third. There was no need to throw it. I don't think it was close enough.
It was not.
And Therian got there to back up, but he tried to knock it down with his bare hand. He did get a piece of it and kept the ball close by, but it rolled just a bit too far. Syed never stopped running, and that's one you hate to give up if you're Massapequa Coast. And when the run comes in largely due to a misplay in the field, I think it makes it sting that much more.
Yeah, they were 1 out away from getting out of the inning at least again. The second straight inning, avoiding giving up the run, and instead, it's a throw into left field that cost them the first round of this championship game.
Camacho on with the walk now. And at the plate, Joseph Timpinelli has a 1-1 count. Count now 2-1. Up and away, ball 3. And now Ianfola, who is up over 40 pitches, this next one will be number 44, is in danger of issuing a second straight walk. And he does.
And I feel like, Joe, might be his last batter of the game upcoming right here. He'll be facing number 12 hitter Luke Winter. Then after that, it's back to the top of the lineup. But they might make the change now.
There is no bullpen action for what that's worth. I think this is going to be a conversation here.
Yeah.
And it is very possible that if they had a game plan, it's time to call an audible in terms of pitching, because you're not expecting your starter to rack up between 45 and 50 pitches in the first 2 innings of the game. And I think in an ideal circumstance, your starter gets you 1 pass through the order and 3 innings. That's ideal. Easier said than done against South Shore, but I don't think Ianfola can give you more than another inning. And that's just in terms of pitch count, as that one's wild to the backstop. Theoretically, he could start the 4th if things are getting back on track, but it doesn't appear that's going to happen right now. And he needs to bear down and get this final out in the 2nd. I think his team would certainly be content with 1 run in the first 2 innings.
You have to get it, especially considering the fact that the top of the order is on deck for South Shore, so they need this out more than ever.
He needs Catherwood to keep the ball in front of him as well, and he needs to do his part and put it near the strike zone, give his catcher a chance. There's a called strike. Count 2-1 now. And just the threat showing that bunt, if you pull it back, you could really do some damage with a ground ball to the left side. And there's a called strike 2.
And I feel like he wasn't maybe going fully on the bunt. I think it was more to try
It was to draw the defense.
Yeah, draw the defense and also force a bad pitch by Ianfola that would go to the backstop.
And there's an ugly swing on 2-2. Ianfola picks up the strikeout of Luke Winter. That will do it for the Road's 2nd inning, but South Shore making things happen on the base paths. Syed scores from second on the wild pitch and the throwing error. It's now 1-0 visitors headed to the home half of inning number 2.
The Staten
Sventuritis will lead things off for Massapequa Coast in the bottom half of the 2nd inning. And he looks at a strike, 0-1. I think coming into this game, Nick, if you told Massapequa Coast just 1 run home for South Shore in the first 2 innings, you would take it. The X factor right now is the pitch count for Matthew Ianfola.
I think you would take that. The problem is you won't take the result of how that run came in.
Yeah. For sure. I think the way the run came home is a bit disheartening, but in the grand scheme of things, if you don't score at least a run, you can't win the game. So they need to get even and just keep playing their game, which is strong pitching and stellar defense. If that's the lone miscue for them in the field, you would suspect that it might not be enough to cost them a win. If that's the only mistake they make, I think I'm inclined to say they'll be okay. Time was called at the plate ahead of the 1-2 pitch. The 1-2. Hit on a line and through the left side, base hit. That ball was smoked by Sventuritis, and he's on with a leadoff single.
And McCord try to make a nice attempt at a diving snag, but Sventuritis with a hard hit ball into the outfield for a leadoff single, and that's exactly how you get back into this game, Joe. Get the leadoff man on, now try to find a way to get him into scoring position here as Aiden Schmierwitz is up at the plate.
That would have been an awfully impressive grab by McCormick as Schmierwitz fouls back the first pitch, 0-1.
Joe, you and I were also discussing during the break what pitchers could maybe come in from Massapequa at some point. We were going over maybe who is not available. So there's a wild pitch.
And there goes the runner to second. Sventoritis took some time to read it, but that ball got far enough away that he coasted into second without a slide.
And now just like that, you don't even have to try to move the runner to scoring position. You have him there. A base hit could maybe move him to third, and depending on how far it goes, maybe bring home the run.
Way out in front there with Schmierwitz, 1-2.
But like I said, we were talking about the discussion of who might be available with Ian Fuller pitching today. You had Therian pitch yesterday, and that's a great pitch right there for the strikeout by Goldberg for the first out of the inning.
That is a filthy breaking ball. He had Schmierwitz out in front on the previous pitch, doubled up on the off speed, and got him looking.
And then we talked about it. Austin started that game Wednesday against South Shore, and then Sventoritis came in relief.
That's hit in the air toward the spectators and onto the concourse.
I was ready to make a catch.
I didn't bring my glove for the weekend, Nick.
I didn't either.
Almost.
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 I didn't say it.
Almost.
You can't get me on this G-rated broadcast.
There's a swing and a miss, 0-2.
I'm pulling the Matumbo finger. No, not today.
That was close.
Very close.
You know, I could use a new glove that fits my adult-sized hands. My glove is from when I was in third grade.
I almost had to slip up like you almost had the left-right field slip up.
Ooh.
And
And
how about
there's
that
a
pitch?
knee-high breaking ball for a strike. Ian Fola down looking. Back-to-back strikeouts for Goldberg, and there are two away.
Very impressive pitches on back-to-back punch-outs. Breaking ball, off-speed pitch, whatever you want to call it, has fooled the last two batters. And then Matthew Therian, yesterday's starting pitcher, comes up to the plate.
You promised a shout-out pregame, Nick.
We talked to his grandfather on the way in, so shout-out to the Therian family listening back at home. Been a great tournament for him pitching for this team. Got a great performance yesterday with a complete game shutout.
That breaking ball sailed over Therian's head, 1-1.
See his grandfather down the first base line taking in, hopefully for their sake, and get a base hit to tie this game.
There's a swing and a miss, 1-2.
Yeah, a bit behind on that fastball right there. And Joe, we saw the off-speed pitch the last two at-bats. Does he go back to it here on 1-2?
You can afford to waste one on 1 and 2 if you choose. And he does. Though, is it ever really a wasted pitch? If you have a good breaking ball and it's not hittable and you double up on it.
Right.
3 straight strikeouts for Brylan Goldberg. He sets down Schmierwitz and Ian Fola looking. Therian down swinging, and Massapequa Coast strands the leadoff base hit. We head to the third. South Shore leads it 1-0.
This tournament would not be possible without the great support of the Staten Island Advance. Not only does the Staten Island Advance have full coverage of the tournament, but we are committed to covering island youth sports year-round and all news close to home. Pick up the paper today and look for great subscriber deals now for our loyal readership. Visit us online at silive.com for news and photos of this week's tournament and all the breaking news on Staten Island, the nation, and the world. The news of Staten Island is the Staten Island Advance and silive.com.
And we're back from great kills for the start of the third inning. Matthew Ian Fola is back on the bump for Massapequa Coast, as I suspected he would be. I think you have to give him a chance to pitch the third inning, but if this lineup sees him much better the second time around, already north of 50 pitches now, I think you might be looking to make that change should he run into trouble. But you have to give him this opportunity. I think that's the right decision.
Yeah.
And he has a 1-1 count on the leadoff batter, Chase McCormick, or Cameron McCormick, excuse me. Is Chase McCormick a baseball player? It is, okay. I watch a lot of baseball, Nick. A lot of baseball. The question is, what team?
You're asking me?
Yeah, do you know? I don't know. I know I've heard the name.
Well, you've stated before you're a Phillies fan.
I don't think it's...
I don't think it's the Phillies.
Well, speaking of the Phillies and the city of Philadelphia, we had some breaking news during the break.
Well, we don't need to go into that.
Well, I'm not happy about the news,
No.
McCormick strikes out. In between batters, Nick, break the news.
Do I have to?
LeBron James is headed to the
You can
Philadelphia
say it.
76ers.
It's all right. They're all just trying to beat the defending champs.
That's right. And our audience is now perplexed that I'm a Knicks fan and a Philadelphia Phillies fan as Hagan rips that one to short. And Therian handles no problem his throw in time. 2 away here in the road third inning.
If they're perplexed by that, then you should be more perplexed by, you should tell them what your football team is.
The Las Vegas Raiders. We have the New York Rangers hockey, Las Vegas Raiders football, Philadelphia Phillies baseball, and New York Knicks basketball. And
yeah, that's not weird whatsoever.
The only one of those teams, you could argue I've flip-flopped on every single one from when I was a kid. I grew up a Mets fan, a Jets fan. I attended more New Jersey Devils games than Rangers, so by default, my team would have been the Devils as a kid, though I wasn't much of a hockey kid. And I've always been a Knicks fan, at least since the age of 10. I started a Nets fan. As that's hit on the ground by Vincent Lecce, handled by Piper at second, and he throws Lecce out to conclude the road third inning. And how about that to get back on track? Ian Fola throws 8 pitches in the inning, and we head to the bottom half of the third. It's still 1-0.
Comes to sport. Now.
And we're back for the bottom half of the third inning with a few moments before we get started. And before we do, we would like to take a moment to thank our friends at Nationwide Bus Charter. Planning a group trip? Nationwide Bus Charter gets you there safely, comfortably, and on time. From school outings to corporate travel, their modern fleet and experienced drivers make every mile easy. Book your next trip with Nationwide Bus Charter. Reliable transportation wherever you're headed. Visit them at nationwidebuscharter.com. And thank you, Nationwide, for being a proud sponsor all week long here at the 10U New York State Little League Baseball Championship. Bottom half of the third inning about to get started. And, Nick, this game already looks very different from the matchup between these two teams in pool play. Just 1 run home for South Shore, and that came as the product of a wild pitch followed by a throwing error. Hits have been hard to come by in this one. Both pitchers throwing well.
Yeah, and I kind of, you got the feeling that was going to be the case because of, Massapequa did not get the pitching performance on Wednesday that they would hope for. But before that, Joe, they had only allowed a 1 run in the first 2 games of pool play. South Shore, if memory serves me correctly in terms of my math, I think they've only allowed 4 runs this entire tournament, or 5 runs, excuse me.
And I'm glad you brought that up, Nick, because all week long we've talked about how prolific their bats have been, and when you score 50 runs in 4 games, that steals the attention. But they pitched pretty well, too. I had to combine both words. They pitched. That one taken high. What'd you think I said?
I don't know. I was trying to figure it out myself. I thought that the G-rated broadcast went to a PG for a second.
That's PG?
No, but I didn't.
That's PG-13.
Yeah, you went up 2.
1 rung up the MPAA ratings at a time as that is lined into left field for a base hit off the bat of DJ Galati.
Galati going the opposite field for that one, and for the second straight inning, Joe, Massapequa Coast gets themselves a leadoff single. They got the runner into scoring position the last time up with nobody out, but it was in 3 straight punch-outs. Can they avoid that here? I think South Shore's expecting bunt here by Piper.
He shows bunt and pulls it back 1-0. And, Nick, I think you could argue that in this game, South Shore has had the better at-bats, but Massapequa Coast has made the better contact. They've had the better swings. They've hit the ball exceptionally hard on more than one occasion in this game.
Yeah.
They just haven't had those free passes that South Shore has proven that they're so willing to take. There's a swing and a miss. 2-1 the count on Piper.
Yeah, I think Sven single the last inning was probably the hardest hit ball we've heard so far in this game.
That one taken high.
And that's the danger, and beauty of it for Massapequa. You're trying to maybe force the bunt, and you're also forcing some outside pitches right there by Goldberg. It's forcing him to try to figure out if he can get a strike and avoid that bunt going down the third base line.
So Aiden Schmierwitz was throwing in the bullpen for Massapequa Coast. He and his catcher, Bennett Catherwood, along with Therian, who was there protecting the bullpen, made their way back to the dugout. They stopped play as that's bunted foul. Big moment in this game, Nick. 3-2, nobody out. Leadoff batter on for the second straight inning. Goldberg struck out 3 consecutive hitters last time he put the leadoff man on, and he has another punch out here.
And it looked like he went back to the off speed again right there, Joe. Piper a bit out in front on that one. A nice pitch. Goldberg dealing so far in this game and a big first out of the inning.
Well, that off-speed pitch has given Massapequa Coast a lot of problems. Mason Meyer at the plate now. And he takes outside, ball 1. And I think something else to note so far in this game is that when Goldberg has faced hitters with a 3-ball count, he has not shied away from attacking. He's been able to put those at-bats away, has not issued a walk yet. Ian Fola has walked 4 thus far. 1-1. Bounced toward third. They go to second for 1. On to first. In time. Double play ends the inning. We are through 3 at Great Kills as we will get one more look at that one. Believe it was 5-4-3 on the double play. It remains 1-0 South Shore headed to the 4th.
K&S Industrial is your all-in-one supply and tool store for commercial, industrial, and domestic industries. A leader in HVAC supply stores, K&S provides various building and maintenance supplies for office buildings, industrial plants, schools, homes, and more. We also specialize in getting our customers hard-to-find items. If you're looking for HVAC supply stores that also offer anything else you might need, look no further than K&S Industrial. If they make it, we'll get it. K&S Industrial.
All right, back here at Great Kills for the top half of the 4th inning. South Shore still leads this one 1-0. But we wanted to take a look back at that last double play ball in the previous half inning because my initial thought, Joe, was I thought the runner at first was safe. And he also thought Meyer, thought he was safe as well.
And he was.
Yeah, clear as day.
Yeah.
Ball wasn't in the glove yet, and his foot was already on the base.
Tough break for Massapequa Coast.
And if you remember, Joe, Massapequa got benefited on a double play earlier against South Shore on Wednesday.
Did they have one against West Nyack as well, where we thought the runner was safe and we ran the replay back and it turns out he was? Was that a double play or a routine grounder where there was a bobble? I don't remember, but there was a play at first where West Nyack was on the wrong end of an incorrect call, and now South Shore puts the leadoff man on here in the 4th. It's a line drive base hit by Joseph Romero, and as soon as I mention that Massapequa for much of this game has made the better contact, Romero says here's one to back up the other side of that coin.
And I'd be curious to see now how much further we see Ian Fola in this game. We saw Schmierwitz warming up in the last half inning.
There's a called strike on Brylan Goldberg, 0-1.
Goldberg looking to help his own cause right here.
He singled his last time up. That's low and in, 1-1. Ian Fola would have loved another quick inning, and then all of a sudden you're thinking about maybe sending him out there for 5th. There's a letter high strike, 1-2, but whether or not he gets this hitter, probably determines whether or not he has a shot to get through a 5th inning. That went up and away, 2-2.
Yeah, he's at 63 pitches right now in this game.
2-2. Off the outside corner, ball 3.
It was funny. I could see some of the Massapequa Coast fans down the first base line. They were not happy with that last call.
Yeah, that's not a great angle to pick up a ball in the outer half, and that misses badly for ball 4.
So a leadoff single followed by a walk. And South Shore now threatening with first and second, nobody out. Joe, do you think they maybe think about a bunt in this spot? It'd be tough because Crushy has had a good bat this week, but you can move 2 runners into scoring position with a chance.
With where they are playing,
Down the
I
third
might
base
consider it, but I'd be inclined to make sure I don't bunt it where Ian Fola can get it.
Yeah, I don't think they will, especially now down 0-1.
Bunt it toward first.
You think down the first base line?
Yeah. That's hit out toward right center field, and it gets by the diving Galati for a base hit. 1 run in to score, and the runners almost overlapped one another coming from first and on to second. It's an RBI double for Ryan Cresci, and South Shore has doubled their lead. It's 2-0.
Yeah, I didn't think they were going to bunt because of the batter at the plate in Cresci. He's been really good this entire tournament in terms of his bat, and he just showed it right there over Galati's glove in right field.
And there's a grounder through the left side, base hit. And it's now 3-0. RBI single, Anthony Modeste.
Yeah, Joe, that might be it. We'll see. But they're keeping him in there for now. But a 3-0 lead now for South Shore. And it's still first and third, nobody out. And how many times yesterday did we see the same exact scenario where South Shore had a runner on third and first, and they stole second base without a throw?
It's just a matter of when, Nick. Will they try it? Modeste dancing off of first. Won't go yet. And you can see it, Nick. Second pass through the order, pitch count run up. It makes a big difference because South Shore had a couple of good swings against Ian Fola in the first 3 innings, but not anything like what we've seen in this inning. They've hit the ball very hard, both on the ground and in the air. There's a called strike at the knees, 2-1. Aiden Syed, the batter here. Reached on a fielder's choice, attempting to bunt his first time. And there goes Modeste, throw to the mound. Ian Fola on to second, not in time. Not the most consequential steal with a 3-1 count, but if you get a pitch to hit here, perhaps a base hit scores 2. And there's a 1-hopper to short. The only play is at first. They get the out there. Throw across the diamond in time, and the run did come home ahead of the play at third. Meanwhile, I thought there were 3 outs, Nick, if you couldn't tell.
I also did.
Oh, okay. It's not just
It
me.
wasn't just me. It wasn't just you.
Okay. Did you have 3 outs in the
I didn't have
in
one.
the program?
No, I didn't. I had
Okay,
2.
you had 2. I thought there were 3.
Yeah. The way you announced it, I was like, oh, wait, that's
I
the
tricked
third.
you.
Yeah, you got me.
I got you.
You got me.
Nonetheless, the run comes home.
Another unconventional double play we've seen this week.
Very unconventional.
Was that 6-3-5 on it?
Yep. 6-3-5.
Once again, South Shore with now a 4-run lead against Massapequa.
At the plate now, Christopher Ortiz. The count on the South Shore extra hitter, 2 balls and 1 strike. This next pitch, number 77 for Ian Fola. And it's in there for a called strike, 2-2. The 2-2. Hit high in the air to left center, carrying toward the warning track, and it 1-hops the fence. Ortiz coasts into second with a loud 2-out double.
Yeah, Vaccarelli lost it right there, Joe. He didn't know where the ball was, but that might be the furthest hit ball we've seen all week. That one was a 1 bounce off of the wall in left field, and it was certainly a home run bid right there, as that would be all today for Ian Fola.
Ironfola pitched 3 strong innings. His pitch count was run up. This lineup got multiple looks at him. And second time through the order, Nick, you could see it made a difference, which is exactly what we talked about earlier. Did either of these teams have a plan to perhaps make a change if the lineup second time through was seeing their starter well? It doesn't seem like Massapequa Coast came in with that mindset. They were going to let Ironfola go as deep into this game as he could, and now they will turn to Aiden Schmierwitz with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position here in the 4th. Quick break here on PDF. We'll be right back following the pitching change.
Awards and Trophy Center is proud to sponsor this week's New York State Little League Championship. Located at 1600 Highland Boulevard on Staten Island, we pride ourselves in not only building trophies, but building relationships as we service our community and treat you like family. Your event and its achievements deserve the best. That's why Country Awards and Trophy Center is ready to work with all of our clients to make your event a memorable one, with awards, trophies, and gifts that make a lasting impression. Come see why we love our customers and they love us. Visit us today.
Sebastian Camacho to the plate for South Shore. He faces Aiden Schmierwitz for the runner on second and 2 outs here in the road 4th inning. And if you're Massapequa Coast, this is an out that you really need, as the wild pitch will move Christopher Ortiz up to third base. And Ortiz, ahead of our break and ahead of the pitching change, hit what was the furthest fly ball that we've seen all week here on the major field. There were some long fly balls over at the senior minor field during the home run derby, but I'm not sure if there was one hit as far as that ball. Another souvenir for the spectators.
That landed on the top of that tent. That's down the first base line.
The 1-2. Got him. Bit of a half-hearted swing there from Camacho, and he is set down on strikes to end the inning. But not before South Shore adds 3 to their lead. They're now on top of Massapequa Coast 4-0 as we head to the bottom half of the 4th inning.
New York State Little League Championship is proud to have Dave & Buster's as a proud sponsor. Where are you going after the game? There's only one place with delicious food, ice-cold drinks, games on the big screen, and fun for the whole family. Food and drink specials are available all week with the latest video games and the biggest arcade on the island. Redeem tokens for great prizes and come back often because Dave & Buster's is the place to be for game day and all the days in between. Turn on the fun with Dave & Buster's on Staten Island.
Home 4th inning about to get started from Great Kills Little League with South Shore leading Massapequa Coast 4-0. And Massapequa now in a position where they need runs and they need them quickly, down to their final 9 outs in this state championship. Still plenty of time. They've hit the ball pretty well in this game, but Brylan Goldberg has been very strong out on the bump, and he seems to get better with men on base. That breaking ball has been a major weapon for him in 2 strike counts, and he's been able to get back into at-bats with that pitch, even when falling behind in the count. And then ahead 0-1, you throw a pitch like that, and as a hitter, there's not much you can do with it. A good breaking ball on the outside corner. Goldberg's been awfully impressive in this game. The 0-2. Another nasty breaking ball, and that's a good take. Liam Austin at the plate getting his first at-bat. And he goes up the ladder after the fastball, strike 3 swinging. 6 strikeouts now for Goldberg, and Louis Vaccarelli will be the batter. Vaccarelli, the number 12 hitter for Massapequa Coast. Chopper, fair ball, long throw, in time. That is a great play over at third base to get that out, as Camacho had to throw it across the diamond and through the runner. That ball tailed down the line, And Modeste reaching around the base runner Vaccarelli to grab it for out number 2. Frank Thomas to the plate now. Thomas 0 for 1. Hit the ball very well his first time up. Flew out to left. And he takes a strike, 0-1.
It's a really tremendous play down the third base line, Joe. You mentioned a tough play. It was in foul territory. And then Modeste had a stretch from one side of the first base line to the other side of the first base line just to even make the catch.
And very quickly here, Thomas down 0-2. And Goldberg misses badly there. 1 ball and 2 strikes, but immediately following a 3-spot for South Shore, if Goldberg comes out and retires Massapequa Coast 1-2-3, the momentum then rests fully with South Shore. And it's tough to bounce back in a championship game, trailing by 4 against a team that's been so good. And then immediately following the 3-spot, you go down 1-2-3 as strikeout number 7 ends the 4th inning for Goldberg. Timpanelli will lead off for South Shore, and he puts the first pitch in play. Shallow right field, catch made by Thomas, 1 away.
Joe, we gotta wait just a moment. Our center field camera did go out as soon as the inning started, but it just came back on.
Good to hear. Though it looks like we are having some lag issues, and I have a feeling, Nick, that's the heat. Yeah, we're having video issues out in center field.
Yeah.
All right, so switch to the infield camera and do your best to monitor that. Yeah, we're having an issue out in center field, though that camera is shaded, Nick. So we should not be having a problem. Let's see. Pick us up for just a moment. I'm going to try and move our receiver a bit closer.
Next pitch from Schmierwitz after a 2-0 count now is in there for a strike. Count now goes 2-1. Very odd to have this happen, especially this late in the tournament for us. 2-1, swung on a miss in there. Now a 2-2 count. Luke Winter, the batter here for South Shore. They have 11, 12, and 1 coming up in the inning. Timpanelli led it off. Now Winter up at the plate, and then followed by McCormick. And he swings and misses for strike 3. Winter down on strike swinging, and there's now 2 gone in the inning.
Yeah, we're definitely having some video transmission issues from out in center field. It's a bit better than it was with the transmitter now moved a bit closer. Nick, just continue to keep an eye on that. If it gets unwatchable, then we'll go to the infield camera.
Got it.
It's definitely not an issue with the software.
It's a half-hard swing by McCormick there. Count goes to 0-1.
That last out, Nick?
Strikeout.
So Schmierwitz with 2 quick outs to begin the 5th is looking to send his team right back to the plate, trailing by 4. The 1-1 popped up and out of play.
Another souvenir.
Quite a few of those today. For most of the week, those have been tough to come by. There have been as many foul balls into the concourse in this game as there have been in all of the games on the major field combined. 1-2 to the backstop, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, I can see a little bit of a lag still.
Yeah. The camera is shaded, so I don't think it's a heating issue. I think there's a device out there that is interfering with the signal because we've had no issues all week as that's fouled back. In between innings, we'll try and move even closer. We do have a little bit more wiggle room.
Yeah, I'm going to switch it for now, Joe. In the meantime.
All right. 2-2. Fouled into the netting. Yeah, looking at it and the output with the wide shot, Not quite the same.
No.
Not quite the same. 2-2. Fouled away again, and we mentioned it earlier in the game, Nick. South Shore continuing to put together quality at-bats all week. That has not changed in this game, and after 2 very quick outs, McCormick has spoiled some tough pitches and prolonged the inning a bit. And now he's run the count full. Schmierwitz a bit frustrated with himself. And there's a swing and a miss, strike 3. So Schmierwitz wins the battle, and he sets down McCormick on strikes. That sends us to the bottom half of the 5th inning. Massapequa Coast trailing 4-0.
Tournament would not be possible without the great support of the Staten Island Advance. Not only does the Staten Island Advance have full coverage of the tournament, but we are committed to covering island youth sports year-round and all news close to home. Pick up the paper today and look for great subscriber deals now for our loyal readership. Visit us online at silive.com for news and photos of this week's tournament and all the breaking news on Staten Island, the nation, and the world. The news of Staten Island is the Staten Island Advance and silive.com.
Home 5th inning from Great Kills getting underway with South Shore leading Massapequa Coast 4-0 in this 2026 10U New York State Little League Baseball Championship game. And it doesn't look like we've had any improved video from center field, Nick. Keep an eye on that, however. The 1-0 hit sharply on the ground to short. McCormick, strong throw, a bit high, safe. And that's the right call, Nick. The throw was high, it took Modeste off the base, and the door is open for Massapequa Coast as Christian Buckman reaches on the throwing error.
Well, it feels like, Joe, it's now more than ever to get some runs on this game for Massapequa Coast. You're down 4. If they got to find a way to at least get 2, in my opinion. If they can cut this to 2 going into the 6th, they've got a shot. And that wild pitch certainly will help.
Over to second goes Buckman. Runner in scoring position, nobody out here in the home 5th inning. This next pitch, number 54 for Brylan Goldberg. And ducking out of the way of that one was Bennett Catherwood, 1-1. Now the first pitch to the backstop was a strike, Nick?
I guess so. I didn't get a chance to see it for a second, so apologies there.
Camera looks better. Still glitching a bit.
Yeah, just a bit.
Very odd. There needs to be another wireless device out there that was enabled at some point, because we've had no issue the entire week. As that breaking ball's in for a strike, 2-2. I'll tell you, that ball looks a bit pixelated coming out of Goldberg's hand, that breaking ball.
That's true.
Hitters have had a tough time tracking it. And that time he misses high to run it full. Buckman over at second. Nobody out. Payoff pitch on the way to Catherwood. Got him. Tied him up. And Catherwood's down swinging for out number 1.
And, Joe, the reason why is I think he was expecting off speed on that one, and he got a fastball, and you can see he was so late on it. He just was not expecting it on the half swing. Big first down right there for South Shore.
Perhaps even more important than the break for Goldberg is the differential in velocity on his pitches. He's had these hitters guessing at times, and we've seen some ugly swings as that goes to the backstop. And on to third goes Buckman. Great stop at third as well by Camacho. He saved the run.
Yeah, that almost was a little bit similar to what happened in Massapequa back early in the 2nd inning. That throw to third base allowed South Shore's first run, and if not backed up by Camacho, that goes into left field.
Kyle Sventoritis at the plate, ahead 1-0. Swings and misses, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Has one of the 2 hits in this game for Massapequa.
Count even at 1. And it's 1-2. We don't tally swings and misses, Nick, but we have not seen this many swings and misses from one pitcher in any game yet. And there's another. Sventoritis went around. He's down on strikes, and there are 2 away.
What is that, 8 strikeouts now for Goldberg?
Yep. No, that's 9.
9.
That's 9. And we mentioned what Matthew Ianfola did with runners on base earlier and how impressed we were. If Goldberg has put 1 on base, he's been awesome in those situations. Once he has a base runner, he becomes almost unhittable.
It's what you mentioned, the change in that variety of speeds. The off-speed pitch has fooled batters, and then you go right back with a fastball. It's really tough.
This is what Goldberg has done with men on base. Strikeout, strikeout, strikeout to strand a runner. Then strikeout, 5-4-3 double play, erasing a leadoff runner. And now back-to-back strikeouts here in the 5th with a man on, as that's bounced left side, and I don't know if they're going to have a play at first, and they do!
Don't doubt them, Joe.
Wow, what a throw by McCormick. And he gets Schmierwitz at first base to retire the side. That ball was hit slowly, Nick. I did not think they were going to have a play at first. But once again, Massapequa Coast is denied, and perhaps we haven't spoken enough about this South Shore defense making plays in this game, and there's another right there on replay. We head to the 6th. South Shore looking for some insurance when we come back.
Comes to sports.
And we are back from Great Kills Little League, where South Shore comes to the plate looking for some insurance, up 4-0. And very quickly, we'd like to thank more of our sponsors for their unwavering support during this week's tournament. Special thanks to our friends at Faraday Elevator Company, Avarga Construction Company, High Tech Mechanical, Robert Director Associates, and Core 4 Construction. Those companies serve all of Staten Island and beyond, so make sure you check them out, send them a thank you, and seek their services as they have gone out of their way to bring you these games, and we could not be more thankful here at PDF. Thank you to all of this week's sponsors. This tournament could not exist without you. Meanwhile, it's 3-0 on John Hagan to open up the 6th inning, and Nick, I think it goes without saying, if you're Massapequa Coast, you need to keep this deficit right where it is. And when you come to bat in the 6th inning, you will have 6, 7, and 8 due up, very possibly against a new pitcher. Christopher Ortiz throwing in the South Shore bullpen as Hagan takes a strike. He was ready to flip that bat away. Count full, 3-2, and that's at a mile high. That's going to be in the field of play, but off the fence. Another full count at the plate for South Shore. We've seen plenty of that in this game. I mentioned the 4 walks issued by Matthew Ianfola as Hagan takes a strike.
For strike 3.
I know. It was a full count, Nick. Of course I know.
Just making sure you know.
I was mid-sentence.
Excuse me.
Vincent Lecce, the batter. That's fouled away, 0-1. Lecce is walked and grounded out to second. And perhaps shockingly, Nick, the top 3 spots in the South Shore lineup now has not recorded a hit in 8 at-bats. They have reached base twice. I mentioned the walks, 2 walks between those 3 hitters, but once you get to the cleanup spot in the order and below, a lot of base knocks and some more walks. As that's hit to short, and there's the first hit for the top 3 batters in this South Shore lineup. Lecce reaches on an infield single, a tough hop for Therian, and it hit off his glove.
I felt like that was the only thing missing from this broadcast, the commentator's jinx.
Fair enough, Nick. They call me Jinx Prime for a reason.
Yeah, I'm not far behind you.
That's right, Jinx Supreme. That one
Yeah, I mean,
swung on and missed by Joseph
If
Romero.
there was
0-1.
any good evidence of that was yesterday in the Massapequa game. I mentioned their great defense, and immediately after an error happened.
That's hit in the air. Shallow left. Who's got it? And it was dropped. A collision, a throw to second in time. And now attention shifts into the outfield. I think that's Buckman, who may have been kneed in the back of the neck or the head.
He fell down, and on the play, Therian toppled over him.
Yeah, I think Therian's knee caught him on the neck or head.
Yeah, not a pleasant play right there for obviously both players. Hopefully on that play, Buckman is okay.
2 outs in the inning now. They do get the force over at second.
And he is up.
Nice round of applause from both groups of supporters. And they're having him flex it out a bit. So it was Therian who picked up the ball and threw the runner out at second?
Yes.
So that is a 6-4 putout from center field at second base.
Yep.
That's one where if you have the spray chart and the graphic representation of the play-by-play, you see 6-4 with the ball marker landing in center field, and you're like, what happened?
It's one you can't believe.
Brylan Goldberg to the plate here. 2 outs, a runner on, his team leading by 4 here in the 6th inning. And they are 3 outs away from a state championship, hoping to tack on some insurance. Bouncer, left side, backhanded by Therian, and he could not make the transfer. What do you think, Nick? Base hit deep in the hole?
Yeah.
I'm with you.
That's a tough play. You're sliding, you try to make the play and make a quick throw, but it just fell out of his glove. And not an easy one, even if he got it. It fielded it correctly. Or I should say, was able to make the throw.
Ryan Cresci to the plate. And for all of about 10 seconds, you and I speculated with 2 on, nobody out. Maybe they bunt him, left-handed batter. You could bunt for a hit. You could drag one and move the runners to second and third. And perhaps unsurprisingly, they did not give that a thought. And he crushed the double into the outfield. Picked up an RBI on that extra base hit as he takes a strike, 0-1. The 0-1. Upstairs, 1-1.
Has a chance to really put this game out of reach if he gets another extra base hit.
The 1-1. Off the plate. 2-1. 2-1. Fouled away. 2-2. In terms of pitch count, Schmierwitz with 36 out of the pen, but our focus is on that number in the visitors column, 65 for Goldberg thus far. And there's another foul ball. I mentioned before, Ortiz was warming in the South Shore bullpen. He has stopped throwing now. Two. Low ball 3. And there goes the runner for third. And that is a run-saving play. Schmierwitz had the runner at first, hung out to dry, but never looked that way.
Joe, look what happened on the exchange back from third to the pitcher. It went over him, and that's a run for South Shore.
Wow. A team that has been so good defensively with a big miscue there. And it's now 5-0 visitors with what I believe is going to be a pitching change upcoming. South Shore once again making things happen on the base paths. They tack on an insurance run here in the 6th. And rather than a pitching change, it is going to be a full conversation between manager, pitcher, catcher, and infield at the mound for Massapequa Coast. We will stay right here. But Nick, that kind of play has been so uncharacteristic of this team all week. We've now seen 2 of those in this game.
Yeah, and that's just really tough because it's been really situation where Massapequa all week long has been really strong defensively, but it's now a play like that's cost them a 5th run. They had a play earlier in this game that cost them the 1st run, and now they're in a spot where you're down 5 runs. You need at least 5 in the next half inning, but the chance for South Shore to get another one right here with a base hit.
Romero took off for 3rd, and Goldberg was staying put over at 1st on that double steal. As that pitch is off the plate for ball 4, and Cressy draws the walk, but Romero took off for 3rd. Goldberg was staying put, and Schmierwitz turned, realized Romero was going. By that time, Goldberg was halfway between 1st and 2nd. He would have been out if Schmierwitz had realized he was also running. Romero, who went immediately, easily took 3rd, and the run-saving stop at 3rd initially prevented the run from coming home, and Schmierwitz threw it away again, throw to the plate, bit high, and they got him! Great tag behind the plate by Catherwood, and that saves a 6th run after what was nearly another miscue. And you could argue that would have been the 3rd defensive miscue in this game by a pitcher, as South Shore will settle for 1 and take a 5-run lead into the home 6th inning. South Shore 3 outs away from a state championship. As we get a look at that play at the plate, great tag on a bit of a high throw, and Massapequa Coast is out of the road 6th inning, trailing by 5.
K&S Industrial is your all-in-one supply and tool store for commercial, industrial, and domestic industries. A leader in HVAC supply stores, K&S provides various building and maintenance supplies for office buildings, industrial plants, schools, homes, and more. We also specialize in getting our customers hard-to-find items. If you're looking for HVAC supply stores that also offer anything else you might need, look no further than K&S Industrial. If they make it, we'll get it. K&S Industrial.
And we are back for the bottom half of the 6th inning here at Great Kills Little League. South Shore 3 outs away from a 2026 10U New York State Little League Baseball Championship win. Massapequa Coast down to their final 3 outs, trailing by 5. And Nick, coming into this game, I think one of the question marks was whether or not Massapequa Coast would be able to generate enough offense to win this game and upset South Shore. However, I think a big difference maker in this game outside of the offense are the miscues in the field, especially the runs that South Shore has been able to generate with their base running, forcing those mistakes with the way they've run the bases.
Yeah, and what did we say earlier in this game, Joe? You said if Massapequa Coast did anything somewhat remotely similar to what they did yesterday defensively, they had a shot in this game. The problem is they've had a few miscues on the field that have cost them some runs, and now you need 5 runs to at least keep the game going, or you need 6 to walk it off and win the championship.
There's a 4-pitch walk to begin the home 6th inning. And if there's a way to get a rally started, that's just it.
I believe that's the 3rd time that Massapequa has gotten the leadoff runner on first to start the inning.
You know what they say about the last 3 outs, Nick?
Do tell. You have too many sayings.
I say it. They're the 3 toughest outs to get, those last 3, especially with a championship on the line. The 0-1 breaking ball misses high.
You're going to have to make a book at this point just to get all the sayings done.
The Foremanisms?
Sure.
Swing and a miss, 1-2. This pitch number 73 for Goldberg. And that misses outside. His next strikeout would give him double digits if he picks up 1 more. He has 9. 2-2. To the backstop. Fola to second. Full count on Matthew Therian. And things get a bit more interesting with another base runner.
Massapequa would love a walk right here.
He'll take the base runner however you can get it. And that won't do it. It's swung on and missed by Therian for strike 3.
And what a way to get that last out on his last pitch, Joe. 10th strikeout, and that'll be it for Goldberg.
Goldberg heads to the South Shore dugout following a stellar effort. 75 pitches, 10 strikeouts, and in line to be the winning pitcher in a state championship game. Out of the bullpen to take over, Christopher Ortiz, right-hander, into the game for South Shore. When we come back, our score, South Shore on top of Massapequa Coast, 5-0.
Awards and Trophy Center is proud to sponsor this week's New York State Little League Championship. Located at 1600 Highland Boulevard on Staten Island, we pride ourselves in not only building trophies, but building relationships as we service our community and treat you like family. Your event and its achievements deserve the best. That's why Country Awards and Trophy Center is ready to work with all of our clients to make your event a memorable one, with awards, trophies, and gifts that make a lasting impression. Come see why we love our customers and they love us. Visit us today.
DJ Ghilotti to the plate, and he takes ball 1 from Christopher Ortiz. Right-hander out of the bullpen for South Shore, looking to close the door on a state championship. And he deals a strike. 1-1 the count. The 1-1 to the backstop. And Ian Fola doesn't think about it as the batter was hit by the pitch. I did not realize that caught him.
I didn't realize it either at first.
Yeah, so Ortiz comes out of the bullpen and hits the first batter he faces. You know what they say about the final 2 outs, Nick?
They're tough to come by?
They're tough to come by. That's right. Jack Piper at the plate behind 0-1. And it's 0-2.
They've been pretty embarrassing. I've already forgot.
Well, Nick, we are 2 outs away, potentially more, if a rally comes to fruition. And there's another souvenir for the concourse. But with us being 2 outs away and 4 years deep into our coverage here at Great Kills, I'm about to go the full week without confusing left and right field.
If you possibly did it this week, another almost souvenir, if you possibly did it this upcoming week, I would be very concerned.
Well, we're behind the center field wall again for the 12 tournament.
You could mix it up.
So I could mix it up at some point. For those who don't know, our coverage here on PDF does continue beyond this game. We'll talk a bit more about that before we sign off.
There's still also some more action here at Great Kills that will be here on PDF as well.
And there's another foul ball.
There's a souvenir. I just don't get it. Like, you know a foul ball is coming. You gotta make a little bit more of an effort to move out of the way.
Well, as a broadcaster who has caught a foul ball while on headset and been hit by 2, I've been hit by 2
You have.
and caught 1. I would call myself an expert in foul balls. And for a moment there, Ghilotti was ready to go to second, but Ian Fola wisely stays put.
I'm ready to catch a home run ball this week.
We'll have to go buy gloves.
I got this one. I don't.
Another souvenir.
I actually don't.
Are there any sporting goods sponsors here at the tournament? I don't see any.
I don't see any.
Well, in that case, I think we have to go to Dick's Sporting Goods.
There's one close by.
There is.
Could do that, worst case.
We'll have to check our surrounding area once we settle in at the hotel later. Nick and I spending the week in West Nyack. We are on the call for every game of the New York State Little League Baseball Championship 12 and under, as we had a ball come onto the field there.
Yeah, I think I got you a little.
It got me a little flustered.
Flustered, sure.
They had an extra ball make its way onto the field. The crowd immediately went into a frenzy. Another ball to the backstop runs the count full.
That backstop with not much leeway so far. It's not allowed both runners to move. This becomes a lot more interesting, Joe, if he walks him here, loads the bases.
Well, if he loads the bases, you're going to look back at the last half inning that insurance run.
Yeah.
And it looms a lot larger when you need 5 instead of 4. Tying run at the plate versus tying run in the on-deck circle. Optically and in terms of feel and momentum, it's not quite the same. You're still 4 or 5 runs away, but just to have the knowledge that one miraculous swing could tie the game, it really changes things.
Piper's put up a great at-bat meanwhile here.
Sure has. And he works the walk to load the bases. Ortiz was upset. He thought that pitch was in at the knees, and now tying run into the on-deck circle. To the plate steps Mason Meyer.
Meyer was involved in some controversy earlier, got into a double play and play that he probably should have been called safe at first base. But to come up in a big spot right here with a base hit, or he'll certainly take a free pass on a walk or hit by a pitch that will get a run home and bring the tying run to the plate.
If you're Meyer, you're just looking to keep the line moving, and takes a big cut at a fastball there, 0-2. After that swing, Nick, I get the feeling you have to go right back to it.
Yeah.
Maybe you waste one and then go back to it, but Meyer was late on that pitch. Almost looked like he might have been expecting something else. And he takes strike 3. Meyer down looking. South Shore 1 out away.
1 out away from a championship. It'll be up to Liam Austin to extend this game from Massapequa. Keep in mind, Joe, if the next 2 can get on from Massapequa, they're back to the top of the lineup. So if you could find a way to extend this game and get it back to the top, you can make things a lot more interesting than they currently are at the moment.
Austin taking his time, getting into the box. His team down to their final out with the bases loaded in a 5-run game. And Austin takes a strike, 0-1. The 0-1. In there, 0-2. South Shore 1 strike away. Ortiz delivers. In there for strike 3 called. And South Shore Little League is your 2026 10U New York State Little League Baseball champion.
And an impressive showing, Joe. Water is splashing all over it towards the mound here at Great Kills Little League. South Shore gets it done. They didn't really have an offensive showing that we've seen all week for them, but man, the pitching for them all week was impressive. Another shutout this week, their second shutout of this tournament, and it gets them a state championship here and a 5-0 victory over Massapequa Coast.
A stellar effort on the mound for Brylan Goldberg. He was phenomenal. 75 pitches, 10 strikeouts. And Christopher Ortiz comes in to record the final 2 outs in a shutout win for South Shore, winning this game in front of plenty of hometown fans here on Staten Island. And this final score, Nick, does not in any way discredit what it took for Massapequa Coast to get here. They were phenomenal in this tournament. Webb gems in the field in the semifinal game, perhaps the most impressive game defensively that we've seen all week. They got great pitching all week and were effectively the only team that managed to push South Shore into the 6th inning.
Both times, yeah.
Both games went to 6, and it felt like this game was much more within reach than the last matchup between these two teams. I think you have to appreciate this effort from Massapequa Coast today. No question about it. They had opportunities with men on base, couldn't come through with the big hit, but they very much were in a position to compete in this game and to win this game. South Shore really broke it open with that 3 spot in the 4th inning, and that's when this game got away, but Massapequa Coast battled until the final out, gave it everything they had, and put on a great performance all week long, including this game, despite the fact that it ends in defeat.
Yeah, I love, even what happened after this game from Massapequa Coast. Of course, shaking hands and congratulating South Shore, but they even went down the first base line with thanking all of the, their fans and their family for coming here to, take in this moment. Even though they did not win the championship, they put on an impressive performance this week nonetheless. To be one of the last 2 teams in this state to just get to the championship game is not an easy feat, and they got here. It didn't come up the way they wanted to, but they have nothing to be ashamed of what they did all week long. You mentioned it, one of the better defensive performances we've seen all tournament in the last 4 years, covering the 12U and now this year the 10U, yesterday in the semifinal. But again, Joe, it's something that we talked about earlier in the week. The timely hits from runners in scoring position, unfortunately, was the backbreaker for Massapequa Coast this week. They had a lot of chances here today. Unfortunately, were not able to get it done. And South Shore took advantage of some big mishaps in the field, but also got some timely hits as they've been doing all week. And as we mentioned, their pitching was in stellar performance this week. If I'm not mistaken, 2 shutouts we already talked about. The other 2 games, 1 run against Massapequa Coast, 3 runs against Penfield. Just 4 runs allowed, including the one yesterday as well. So 5 runs, allowed all week.
And I'm glad you mentioned that earlier, Nick, when I fumbled on my words, but we'll try again. They pitched pretty darn well all week long, and it was perhaps a bit overshadowed by how well they swung the bats. I think the offense takes center stage when you score as many runs as they did. But
55 runs they scored to the 5 runs they allowed.
They had some great pitching as well, and I think you have to be impressed with the complete effort of this South Shore squad. They're a deserving state champion, and Nick, as you and I mentioned earlier, from here, there is plenty more to come on the PDF Sports Network the next week. You and I head up to West Nyack. We cover the 12U New York State Little League Baseball Championship. The 2 of us are on the call all week long, every game of pool play, both semifinal matchups and the championship. Here at Great Kills, it is the 10U Eastern Regional Softball Championship on PDF. Our colleagues Dave Pizzuto, Joe Calabrese on the call alongside Nick Durst throughout the week. I believe Cameron Williams is joining them as well.
Very nice.
A lot of different voices will contribute throughout the week here at Great Kills for the 10U Eastern Regional Softball Tournament coming up. That gets underway, I believe, Sunday, Nick. I think there might be a day in between. It doesn't start tomorrow. I know my schedule. I can't say I know their schedule. I should know the network schedule. We'll double-check that, but that's coming up this weekend here on PDF. I do believe Dave said he's back tomorrow, so I think that coverage does begin tomorrow. As for you and I, we're up bright and early in West Nyack tomorrow morning. For now, we are going to throw it down to field level as South Shore is presented with their championship trophy and Massapequa Coast receives their congratulations as the runner-up. Nick and I will return to headset to sign off, but until then, everyone, thanks for watching all week long. Enjoy this moment if you're a fan of South Shore, and stay tuned for Massapequa Coast and show appreciation of their great effort. One final time, we'd like to thank all of our sponsors from throughout the week for making this broadcast possible. And Nick, it's time to celebrate down on field level. South Shore Little League is your 2026 10U New York State Little League Baseball Champion.
Another great game today. Let's give a nice round of applause to the 2 best teams in New York State. Yeah. I gotta tell you, you know what? It was a lot of games, a lot of fun, terrific sportsmanship between all the teams, and to see everyone out there fighting and playing like you guys did, coming down to you 2 teams is just amazing to see 2 great teams out here playing the championship game. And you know what? I'm very proud of all this, and I want to thank everybody for everything they've done, coming down to play, coaches, players, parents. Everything turned out very nicely, and we got to see a great New York State championship. So let's give them another round of applause. These guys, they're all great. They're all great here. Our New York State president of Little League is Danny Cavello, and his executive board is on behalf of him. We ran this tournament. I'd like to thank New York State for what they did, so we were able to run a wonderful tournament for you boys and for your families. So, you know what's great about Little League baseball? It's supposed to be about fun, making friends, and sportsmanship. That's what it's really supposed to be about, and that's what we do. And we improve it every day by watching you guys play, and just have just a great game. So it was a great championship, and it's great to see you guys. All right, so I want to thank Rob Pascal, president of Great Kills, and his board of directors for hosting such a great tournament. Let's give him a nice round of applause. Thank all my ABAs. We have Rob's wife, Stephanie. Of course, John Segura, give him a nice round of applause. He put together a lot of good things. And then we had Adam Canetta was here, Candace Graham, James Ronaldo, everybody that helped on our ADA staff to get these teams in. I want to thank everybody for that. Okay, so now the fun part. Let's give out some awards. Mike Catherwood, come on down. Congratulations, great job. I'm going to let you say a few words, and then we're going to call the boys out. And you're not only getting one medal, you're going to be getting 2 medals. Yeah!
Thank you, Frank. What a great summer. First, congratulations to South Shore Little League. Boys, I couldn't be more proud of everything you guys have accomplished this summer. Just such a supportive team of each other, always picking each other up. You guys work hard. You've earned everything that you've accomplished this summer, and again, I couldn't be more proud of you. Frankie Thomas. CB, Christian Buckman. Benny Catherine. Cobra Kai, Kyle Santoritis. Aiden Sperlitz. Louis Baccarelli. Mason Meyer. Matty Iapola. Matthew Therian. Pipes. Jack Piper. DJ Gagliotti. And Liam Austin.
All right, nice round of applause, Massapequa coach. Great job. Hey, I just want you to know, this young man played at Great Hills Little League. Yeah, he came full circle with Coach's son right here on the same field. Great job. Thank you. Hey, I also want to remind everybody that this is an 8 to 10-year-old tournament for Little League. These kids, they're not kids, they're incredible. To be here and out here playing as good as they are, I can't wait to see when they get to 12, when they get that Little League division, when they go to the World Series. This is going to be some battle with all in years come. All right, give them one more round of applause, these guys. All right, at this time, we all become one, and I say that in every division. I know a lot of guys look forward to hear me saying that, but this is what happens now. Now we're in New York State, and going on to the East Regional Tournament up in Cranston, Rhode Island, which is a very nice place. Will be South Shore Little League, so let's come on out, Mr. Manager. My name is the President. This is the Manager, Vinny Niccolo.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you for hosting a great tournament. Massapequa, I have a feeling that we're going to be getting to know each other very well over the next couple of years. Amazing team, amazing team. You guys are great. Congratulations. You guys, I couldn't be any prouder of you guys. You've given me everything for the last 2 months, and we ain't done. We got more to give. Unbelievable. My coaches, nothing better than coaching a team with 2 of your best friends, and we have a great team doing it, so thank you guys. Penny, amazing. Parents, great. That's all I got.
Vinny will announce them out. They're going to get a trophy, a ring from this wonderful young lady, and then the banner.
Cameron McCormick. John, get out of here. John Hagan. Villaci. Joseph Romero. Brian Goldberg. Ryan Cressy. Anthony Modeste. Aiden Syed. Christopher Ortiz. Sebastian Camacho. Joseph Tipinelli. Luke Winter.
All right, and of course the team trophy. Here we go. Zimmy Nicolo. And last but not least, the New York State banner to represent Rhode Island, Cranston, and Rhode Island. All right, that concludes our ceremonies. Thank you, everybody. Have a safe trip home. You can take pictures, whatever you want to do. Enjoy, and thank you all.
Well, Nick, I just made a cameo in our wide camera shot on the infield mistakenly, but you and I on headset for the final time this week here at Great Kills before we head to West Nyack in about an hour's time. South Shore Little League is your 2026 10U New York State Little League Baseball champion. A well-deserved championship for South Shore. They go on to regionals, a strong showing for Massapequa Coast as well, but all week long, the big hurdle for every other team in this tournament was getting by South Shore, and great pitching combined with exceptional hitting propels South Shore to the state championship and on to the next step at regionals.
Yeah, and the South Shore team is going in with a lot of momentum, Joe, of course. A lot of runs scored this week, a lot of runs not allowed on this pitching staff, 55-5. When you have a plus 50 differential, it's impossible, really, it feels like, to beat any team in professional baseball, collegiate baseball, and even here in Little League. And South Shore did this week. Tough opponent for any team to beat. And now we'll see what they do out of the next stage. And like we said, from Massapequa Coast, still nothing to be ashamed of for what they did this week. Really impressive showing. And we'll see. Of course, keep in mind, Joe, this is the 10 under, so a lot of these kids, 8, 9, 10 years old, will be moving up to the 11 team. Some will be staying on this 10U team. And, we'll see what their next chapter of their life begins in Little League Baseball. But it's still not over just yet. But we'll see what these two teams do from here on in. And for South Shore, good luck to them moving on forward.
It was a blast covering this tournament for the first time. We have covered the 12U tournament 3 times before this one, each of the last 3 years here at Great Kills. And, of course, we'd like to thank everyone here at Great Kills who has welcomed us back and made our job so much easier all week long. Food, refreshments, some courtesy of our great sponsors, and a great perspective to call a ball game, Nick, above the wall, down the line in right field. One more time to wrap up the week. I did not get left and right field mixed up one time.
You were close.
Despite calling the game from behind the wall, you and I almost always exclusively work from behind the plate. But it was a blast being here again. And, Nick, for you and I, our coverage has reached just its midway point.
Yeah, if you're not sick of us now.
If you're not sick of us already, just wait until the 12U tournament is over. Nick and I head to West Nyack in about an hour's time. Our coverage of the 12U New York State Little League Baseball Championship begins tomorrow morning. I believe that is at 9 a.m. for the welcome parade, with games at 10, 1, 4, and 7. Nick, I see you about to double-check that, but I'm fairly certain that I know this schedule well. We had to book a hotel and an entire trip around it, so we know exactly where we are going to be and when. As for the rest of our PDF crew, they are here at Great Kills tomorrow. However, it is just the welcome parade tomorrow. There is no pool play tomorrow here at Great Kills. Pool play begins the following day. So welcome parade tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pool play the following day on Sunday begins at 9 o'clock in the morning. So until tomorrow morning, this has been Joe Foreman alongside Nicholas Bavona on the call. Be sure to tune in here on the PDF Sports Network for more Eastern Regional 10U softball and 12U New York State Little League Baseball coverage for the next week. Both of those events will be streamed in their entirety here on the PDF Sports Network. Be sure to check it out. And until next time, thank you everyone for watching and enjoy the rest of your Friday.